Listen, this is Raga David Darcy, and I'm reading from a book called Cow and Humanity Made for Each Other. And nothing could be truer. I'm learning so much about cows. But I want to share a very touching story on page 91 of this good book. And this is written by Dr. Sahadev Das. I'm not certain whether he's a PhD or MD. Don't forgive me, my ignorance, but this is a touching story, as I said, and it's called, he titled it, From Cruelty to Kindness, Cow Changed the Heart. I'll say one other thing before I forget, that he has a website called Cowism. Cowism, good name, okay? And this was translated from Goseva Chamakar. Okay, so here I go. And this is a true story. Did I emphasize that it's a true story? So that makes it even all the more touching. So during the 1957 Sepoy Mutiny in India, a small group of Muslim soldiers assembled in a Delhi street. They were tired and hungry after an intense day of looting and fighting. You know how the looting and fighting stuff gets, very, very intense. So the leader asked them to go and find some food. A group of 4 brought a pregnant cow, dragging her along. The cow had tears in her eyes. They threw her on the ground, tied her legs, and began sharpening the knife. Somehow, the leader's heart melted at the sight, and he scolded them for being too slow. "Give me the knife, and arrange for fuel and salt. How do you plan to cook her without that?" Soldiers left the scene to arrange for fuel and salt. After they left, he patted her and set her free. Before walking away, she looked at him. This is the cow now. She looked at him lovingly, with eyes full of gratitude. Shortly afterwards, they were arrested by the British and sentenced to death by hanging. And this is the Muslim soldiers. When the leader's turn came, he was handcuffed. Masked, and the noose was placed on him. When the platform below was moved, his legs came to rest upon something which felt like 2 horns. His hanging was attempted 3 times, and every time he felt 2 horns stopping his fall. As per the prevailing law, he was released after 3 attempts. As he came out of prison, he saw the same cow with a beautiful calf looking at him lovingly and walking away. Since then, he dedicated himself to spreading the glories of cow protection. Throughout his life, he would first offer prayers to a cow and then go and offer his namaz, which is apparently, I believe, a Muslim term. I'm not going to pretend to know what I don't. There's another little story here, and this is a story of Ben and Tina, and there are 2 cows, a cow and a calf. Well, we'll see when we get to the story, right? Okay. A cow teaches how to love and care, and this is from the UK and Amlach Farm. Farmer Keith Ridgway and his wife Elsie own a farm in Amwich, UK. This year, one of their sheep, which I think is called a ewe, gave birth to triplets. Triplets are very hard to rear, and often one will be rejected by the ewe. One of the newborn triplets was rejected by the mother ewe and was not allowed to come near. The tiny lamb just laid on the ground bleating. Bleating, I think, means crying and that kind of thing. To everyone's surprise, an old cow, Tina, farmer's pet, came up to nuzzle the little lamb in the yard. When Tina, the cow, saw that Ben had been abandoned, she took him on herself and started playing the role of mother for him. The lamb has been named Ben since then. At 20, Tina is too old for calves now herself, but the mothering instinct in her is very strong. She moo, moo, when anyone gets too close to Ben and then she licks him clean. She really believes she is Ben's mother. Ben just follows her around all over the place and even tries to get milk from her. Tina hasn't produced any milk for about 4 years, so the farmer family has to bottle feed Ben. But in every other respect, she is now his mother. They even lie down together to sleep. Very cute. This benign gesture by the cow has kindled compassion in the farmer Keith and his family's hearts. He says, while the rest of the flock were sold over Easter, Ben's future with Tina is safe. Ben seems to be growing well, and the grandchildren like him so much, he will never be served up for dinner. I think Ben and Tina will be friends for the rest of their lives. I think it'd be a very good time to stop. I think we're recording live, which, yeah. Can I pause it? Mataji. Mataji. Heady ball. Now, I can probably find one other thing that I could read. What do you think? I can tell you just a little bit that I recall from reading this book, that there are apparently about 26 breeds of cows in India. And a very somewhat controversial thing about this is that cows apparently there originally were not, this is too controversial, I won't go there. You have to ease into certain topics. Let me see in my bag of tricks what I have here. I know that I have Radharani on my earring, if you can see her. That's Radharani. And I also have a Srimati Radharani, not any Radharani, Srimati Radharani. And I have Krishna on the other ear. And you probably can't see either one of them, but let's see. I think I'm going to read a little bit from the Mukundamala Stotra, which was one of my favorite books in my early devotional life. And the Mukundamala Stotra, translated by Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, is the prayers of King Kulashekar. And Kulashekar was, I think 17th century. Let's see if I can find that in here. Yeah, it's not going to be as easy as I thought to find that. But this is, they're very heartfelt and touching, as I keep saying. You have days when your vocabulary expands and other days when it contracts. Mine is contracting very much now, but this is the translation of text 1. And it goes, "Oh Mukunda, my Lord, please let me become a constant reciter of your names, addressing you as Sri Vallabha, he who is very dear to Lakshmi, Varada, the bestower of benedictions, Dayapara, he who is causelessly merciful, Bhakti Priya, he who is very dear to his devotees, Bhava Latana Kovida, he who is expert at plundering the status quo of repeated birth and death, Nata, the Supreme Lord, Jagan Nivasa, the resort of the cosmos, and Nagasayana, the Lord who lies down on the serpent bed." So, let's see. Now, a devotee of God is he who, this is Prabhupada's purport, and I think he was helped by some disciples as well. A devotee of Godhead is he who glorifies the personality of Godhead, and that's very important. Glorification, that's the key. So we glorify the personality of Godhead under the dictation of transcendental ecstasy. This ecstasy is a byproduct of profound love for the Supreme, which is itself attained by the process of glorification. So the process of glorification will create a profound love for the Supreme. In this age of quarrel and fighting, which is called the Kali Yuga, Yuga is meaning, Yuga means ages, and the Kali is a particular age, and it's the shortest, it's 432,000 years, as opposed to much longer ages, which are Dwapara, a few others. Satya is the longest, and it's the most, the earliest. So in this age of quarrel and fighting, the process of chanting and glorification recommended here by King Kulashekar is the only way to attain perfection. Persons who are infected with the disease of material attachment, which many of us are, myself included, and who suffer from the pangs of repeated birth and death, cannot relish such recitation of the Lord's glories, just as a person suffering from jaundice cannot relish the taste of sugar candy. By nature, sugar candy is sweet as anything, but to a patient suffering from jaundice, it tastes as bitter as anything. Still, sugar candy is the best medicine for jaundice. Isn't that an irony? Very ironic. By regular treatment with doses of sugar candy, one can gradually get relief from the infection of jaundice, and when the patient is perfectly cured, the same sugar candy that tasted bitter to him regains its natural sweetness. In the same way, glorification of the transcendental name, fame, attributes, pastimes, and entourage of the personality of Godhead, or the Supreme Lord, tastes bitter to those who are suffering from the infection of material consciousness, but is very sweet to those who have recovered from this infection. And we should all aim to do that, to recover from the infection of material consciousness. So, all mundane philosophers, religionists, and people in general who are constantly suffering from the threefold miseries of material existence can get freedom from all such troubles simply by chanting and glorifying the holy name, fame, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, the absolute truth, is all spirit, and therefore his name, fame, and pastimes are non-different from him. All of them are identical. In other words, the holy name of the Lord is the Lord himself, and this can be understood by realization. By chanting the holy names of the Lord, which are innumerable, and I'll give you a few off the top of my head now, because I studied this a little bit, but so there's Mukunda, there's Govinda, there's Natabara. Natabara is the great dancer. Mukunda is the giver of liberation. Govinda is the tender of the cows. I think he's tending cows and the lover of the brahmanas. There's Krishna, of course, the most all-attractive personality. Lord Sri Krishna, he's so attractive to everyone. Even the atheists are attracted by Krishna. It's a fact. It's a fact. Their attraction is, of course, shown in a very perverse way because they are trying to always deny him, deny his existence. That's the sign of their attraction. So let's see now. But let me come back to the book here. I don't want to get too far into my... but who was I saying? Natabara, Govinda, Mukunda, giver of liberation, Gopal, who is Damodar, baby Krishna. Okay. Let's find where I was. The Supreme Lord, the Absolute Truth, is all spirit, and therefore his name, fame, and pastimes are non-different from him. All of them are identical. In other words, the holy name of the Lord is the Lord himself, and this can be understood by realization. By chanting the holy names of the Lord, which are innumerable, that's what got me started, one can actually associate with the Lord personally. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, that's so, so terrific. So we can associate with the Lord personally by chanting his holy names. And by such constant personal touch with the all-spiritual Lord, one will become spiritually self-realized. This process of self-realization is very suitable for the fallen souls of this age, when life is short and when people are slow in understanding the importance of spiritual realization, prone to be misled by false association and false spiritual masters, unfortunate in every respect, and continuously disturbed by innumerable material problems. So that's what we're up against right now. And therefore, we should chant the holy names with great relish and seriousness and consistency. And anyway, so King Kulashekar, an ideal, pure devotee of the Lord, shows us by his own realization how to offer prayers to the Lord. Since he is a Mahajan, an authority in the line of devotional service, and I think there are 12 Mahajans. Don't quote me. Meena, there are 12 Mahajans, isn't it? 12. I think there are 12 Mahajans. It is our prime duty to follow in his footsteps in order to achieve the highest devotional platform. He first addresses the Lord as Sri Vallabha, he who is very dear to Lakshmi. The Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, she's telling me look. I don't want to look directly. I don't want to look directly. I lied earlier and I said I'm a surrendered soul. Somewhat surrendered soul. But it was distorting my praise, in my opinion. But anyway. So he who is very dear to Lakshmi. So the Lord is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his consort Lakshmi Devi, is a manifestation of his internal potency. By expanding his internal potency, the Lord enjoys his spiritual paraphernalia. Don't we wish we could all do that? But this is our problem. Why those of us in the material world, we're trying to imitate God. We want to be like God. We want to do what he does, and But Srila Prabhupada taught us that what our problem is, we want the kingdom of God without God. And that just doesn't happen. You can't get one without the other. So, see. So the Lord, therefore the Lord is not impersonal or void, as empiric philosophers conceive him to be. Although he is not of the material world, he is much more than simply a negation of material variegatedness. He is positively the supreme enjoyer of spiritual variegatedness, of which Lakshmi, the internal potency, is the fountainhead. So, coming back to King Kulashekar, and I have depriving you all because I should have read a little bit of his history, because he's quite extraordinary. I think he was born in the 17th century, and maybe should we go there now? Should we go there now? Yes or no? Yeah, okay. So we're coming down to the end of the page. This is a little section I like quite a bit. Okay, so one of the Lord's names, Kulashekar, next addresses he who is causelessly merciful, which is Dayapara, because there is no one but the Lord who can be a causelessly merciful friend to us. He is therefore also Dinabandhu, the friend of the needy. Unfortunately, at times of need, we seek our friends in the mundane world, not knowing that one needy man cannot help another. No mundane man is full in every respect. Even a man possessing the greatest riches is himself needy if he is devoid of a relationship with the Lord. Everything is zero without the Lord, who is the digit that transforms 0 into 10, 2 zeros into 100, 3 zeros into 1,000, and so on. Thus, a zero man cannot be happy without the association of the Lord, the Supreme One. And I believe I'll stop there and thank you all for your audience. And let's wind up. Hare Krishna. All glories to King Kulashekar. And